Hi, I'm Diana Montford, the world's first transgender television journalist. Born male, became female. I say that every show so people will know because they say, "What direction are you going in?" Yeah. Anyway, this is our yearly tarot reading for the coming year. Tarot cards. We are going to find out what the universe has in store for, I guess, our country
We'll kind of look
or the
at
whole
it
world.
just we can look at it as for us, starting with us, and for our highest and best good, and that would be us and all of those out there who will see this. So it probably will have a USA focus.
Okay. And my guest is, of course, the famous Akashic record reader and tarot reader, Ms. Sylvia Chappell, whom you see on the show every year at the beginning of the year to tell us what is going to happen. So, hello.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do we do now?
Well, I thank you for inviting me back
My
again for
pleasure.
2025,
Yes.
and it's this is going to the reading that I do. The cards that come up are representations of the energies and possibilities of this year. It's not saying that anything is set in stone because we are beings with free will and we have the power to change. Depending on our level of development, we can change what happens in our world, in our field of consciousness, and manifest in our world. And in some cases, we can change, if we really focus on it, we can change the timeline that we're on
How do
to
we
one
do
that's
that?
more beneficial.
How?
Well, that would be doing a lot of the inner development and being very mindful of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and if we want to be on a happier timeline or more joyful or loving type of timeline, which I do. And so that would be what I would want to focus on. I would want the majority of my thoughts and the emotions that are powering my thoughts and my connection to, I would want to have a strong connection to my divine helpers. And I would want to do what I can to create more, help the relationships that I'm in be more loving and more compassionate.
Now, sometimes it's very difficult in the workaday world, to keep a positive mindset. You're on the subway and someone bumps into you and you think, you son of a bitch, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are challenges. There are a lot of challenges, and I'd say that there could be more this year, just because we're in such a transitional year and a year where, or a period where there's a lot of major change going on, and often unanticipated and sometimes alarming ways.
But now, didn't we all choose when we were choosing our lives, you know, wherever we come from, to come to this plane of existence in
Yeah.
these times of, well,
Yeah.
interesting times?
Yes. Yes, we did. That's some level of choice to experience this, and ideally, what I get from the Akashic Records readings that I do is that there's so many of us who have chosen this time because we're on what's called the ascension timeline, like ascending to a higher level of consciousness. And that would be actually changing. What happens around us would change. We would no longer be stuck in the lowest part of the third dimensional polarities and extremes and the pinball machine effect. But we would be in a fifth dimensional, and that's a higher realm of consciousness. And there's still polarities, but it's easier to discern which choice is going to bring you closer to the love vibration, the compassion, that type of
Would you
frequency.
say that the corporate honchos who are raising prices on food, on everything, I just heard downstairs from the security guard that Eggs cost her $13 a dozen. I almost
Mm-hmm.
fainted. I don't eat eggs, so I don't know what they cost.
Mm-hmm.
But, and she has children, which makes it difficult, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, are they on the lowest vibration, putting profit before everything?
That I don't know. I don't think I could make a sweeping judgment like
Mm-hmm.
that, but there's certainly something that's out of whack as far as the prices, how expensive everything is, and how wages, salaries are not really, at least in my experience, not keeping
I
pace
know.
with that.
Isn't that terrible?
Uh, so this would indicate to me, of course I want to look at and be aware of what's going on and put my attention and focus and energy behind those who are seem sincere about making positive changes for everybody, not just for themselves. And I would also want to look at what my relationship is with financial abundance and see if there's anything that I could clear from the past. That would be
No,
more of an Akashic
no
records
names
thing.
mentioned, but we both have a lovely friend who's been on the show actually, who was having extreme financial difficulties 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago, and now she's doing very well. She manifested that, I would imagine.
Hmm.
By what? Concentrating on money coming to her for good You have to watch out and not say, oh, I want money, and then you get hit by a car and you get a big insurance settlement. You got your money, but at what
Yeah, it's
cost?
good to be specific with
Yes.
with the universe and say that it's for the highest and best good of yourself and everyone who's concerned, who's part of who's part of your life or affected by it. So yes, she did. It had a lot to do with her changing the quality of her thoughts around abundance and what she deserved and because or
And
what
she's
she was
brilliant. She
worthy of.
certainly deserves
Yes,
everything good.
yes, and we're yes, and this is great to see. It's such a joy to see friends make positive
Yes, yes, yes.
positive changes and just make that decision and say I'm just gonna do what I can.
And there are many ways to do this because we have another friend who was living on his Social Security. And it was very difficult because he lived in New York City. But he got the bright idea to move to Ecuador. And there, he is J.J. Got Rocks the third.
Well, I
You,
would say not quite that, but yes, things go. Life is a lot easier and simpler, and he's enjoying it. So,
yeah.
yeah. So that was having a goal there, but I think it helped him that he didn't have any judgments or self judgments or
Yeah.
criticisms or things like that. He probably had some generational conditioning.
Yeah.
He's Irish, so I think there's a
Money's the root of
tradition
all evil, yes,
there.
that kind
Well,
of
and
thing.
also having some severe famines and issues like
Sure,
that
yes.
generationally.
Would you
So
say that Ireland attracted a famine in the 1840s?
that I think that would be
Not for us to say,
not
really.
for us to say, not
Yeah.
for us to say. But people did who were part of that did choose to have that experience in some
Well,
way,
yes, they came
and
to
it
Earth
could be
knowing that.
yes. So it could
Can,
be.
can I ask you a question? Sometimes I see a homeless person in the street, and I think that's Louis XIV. Someone who is learning humility and
Could be.
poverty after
Could
having
be.
had sweeping wealth and power.
It could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Uh, I encounter a lot of things in Akashic readings where we are doing things to balance where we were out of balance with, or where we made decisions that resulted in traumatic situations, or
Yes.
whether we were the victim or the perpetrator or
One last
both.
thing. I have a friend who was in Vietnam, was distinguished himself, but was injured and was quite emotionally traumatized by Vietnam. I would imagine he's had a soldier mindset throughout time In other words, he was probably a soldier in many different lives because he enjoys it. His favorite movie is Patton. I rest my case. Yeah. And why am I friends with this person? That's what I want to know. But anyway.
I don't know. He
But
has an interesting past.
yes, but now, the people he killed in Vietnam, he's going to have to pay for that somewhere along the line, isn't he?
I think it's probably more complicated. I mean,
Or maybe they killed him in another life and he killed them in his life, or something like that.
or what was the motive? What was this? You know, did he do it willingly? Did he do it? Did he feel regret about it?
He's felt regret since Vietnam.
So that
to the point where he has been an alcoholic for many years. He is now in recovery.
Yeah. So that would be his.
That is his cross to bear. That is his payment.
Or how, in a way, that he chose that, or that was what he did to. And I'm glad that he's now in rehab because in recovery.
So that means that basically he already paid the karmic debt by being an alcoholic?
It's hard to say for people because in the Akashic records, just in terms of karma, they rarely use the word karma. Mm-hmm. They're aware of it, but they rarely use it because it sounds like there's some outside system. And there is, in a way, it is a system that helps us stay in balance and gives us opportunities to balance where we've gone that we shouldn't have gone. Or
excuse me, I cannot see the clock. The time.
16.
Okay.
All right. So shall we start with this? And
I think we should.
All
yes.
right. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to do a spread that I have done for. That I do for myself.
Oh dear, whatever was that?
I'm sorry.
No problem. So a part of the set just fell down, but nothing to worry about.
That's okay.
Now you've been doing the show now for about 10 years, I would imagine, or more.
Yes, but there's some breaks in there.
Well, no, you come on every January. Oh yes, well, COVID. Yes.
Yes. So
I was unvaccinated and they wouldn't let me anywhere near the studio, but they showed reruns and they were very nice about it. And this wonderful man named Leon Taylor, who was the head of production at the time, I believe, he helped me immeasurably. He was a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. And these are, these are large cards and they're not easy to shuffle. So my intention with this has been for the cards that come up to be for the highest and best good of us. And I'm just going to cut them here. And these are, I will put them in a spread or formation that starts with 5 cards. We might draw others. And these will indicate the main energies around this 2025. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the top one. And that's in the position of the overall message from Spirit. Mm-hmm. And then this is conscious influences. And it's the star. And this is unconscious influences, Queen of Wands. Oh, and the top one was the Six of Pentacles.
Well, we'll show it, you know.
And then this is more of what's going on in the third dimensional world here, the card on the bottom. And this is the overall. The card in the middle is the outcome, if nothing changes, because we all have the opportunity to change our own little world, our world of consciousness. But overall, if you could hold that up, please, thanks.
Is it showing?
Yes.
All right. So overall, there are some very encouraging cards about this year. I must say, I wasn't sure what was going to come up. And there's just so many there's so many very benevolent, helpful, useful energies here, that energies of harmony that I'm really happy to see. And the top one, the overall message from Spirit, is the Six of Pentacles. Pentacles is the suit of, it's literally money, because they're gold discs, but it's also talents, resources, things you value, and security as well, and the suit of the earth. And the Six of Pentacles shows what looks to be a nobleman who's giving money to, giving some gold coins to a beggar. And there are a couple of beggars here. And what's communicated here is that there's a balance, and the number is 6, and that's the number of balance. So it's saying that there needs to be a balance between giving and receiving. And when there is a balance, and it's in harmony, and there are people who are gratefully receiving, and there's someone who's giving, and they're giving in the spirit of creating harmony and balance, then it's a very positive card. In terms of business, in terms of if you spend money, you'll make money. So this could also indicate that there's some resources that are going to be given back to people in need, given back because through various, perhaps the recognition that there was some monies that were taken from people that shouldn't have been taken from people. And I'm not necessarily speaking about corporate greed, but that would be the result of greed or the desire to concentrate everything into a few into a few hands. So in our own lives, I think it's to be mindful of what we are giving out and what we are receiving, and that like does attract like. And if we do an act of kindness, then we might not get it back immediately, but it would come around to us, and to be open to that instead of assuming that you're not going to get any appreciation. I love the fact that the Star card came up. This is about bright prospects and just help from above, from the divine realms. It's about giving and receiving love, and it's in the position of conscious influences. It kind of surprises me because there are a lot of folks who are thinking that things are going to get worse overall, or having that expectation. But this is telling me that there could be cosmic forces at work, just something that we're not aware of, that there is more help for those of us who are having this earthly experience. And that in terms of abundance, there's certainly the figure here who is pouring water from 2 pitchers. The pitchers never run out. There's abundance because it's tapping into the divine source. And the stars here are 8-pointed stars, and that's the star of rebirth, regeneration. So I'm also very happy to see that. It would be a good time to ask for and be great and express gratitude for receiving angelic help, or help from ascended masters or teachers or wisdom keepers. And then across from it is the card in the unconscious position, or subconscious influences position. The Queen of Wands, and I like the fact that there's a balance of female energies represented here. And the Queen of Wands is about someone who is very much in charge, very innovative, can be very inspiring. She's someone who is a good leader. I always like to work for people, especially women, who have this energy about them. They're able to communicate a vision of how things could be, and then to be able to communicate it, but also to rally people around. So if you want to if you're thinking of starting something or trying to find others who share your vision of a very positive future, and ones who are bringing some innovative, maybe it's innovative healing technologies or innovative ways of organizing the government or something of that nature, just to know that there's support and your subconscious resources, and that could be things from past lives, it could be things from your ancestral lineages, just to be open to that and invited in. Then going down to the bottom card, this is in the position of more of the day-to-day life, the earthly influences. And this is the Three of Cups. Cups is this, oh, and I forgot to mention, Wands is the suit of communication, career, creativity. So Cups is the suit of the emotions, the spiritual, the intuitive, the arts. And the Three of Cups is about celebrating the birth of something new. And I like that because the fact that it's in the position of everyday influences, that this isn't something that we have to wait to trickle down to us. It's like we can find the joy in our daily lives, especially from connecting with others, connecting with our spiritual families, those of us in the arts who are doing something that inspires people or helps just to get feelings of joy. It feels like there's an opportunity, and to do it in collaboration, because so 3 is the number of self-expression, but it's not the hermit card where you're doing it all by yourself. It's where you're reaching out to others who are the like-minded and kindred spirits. And then we have another 3. This card is more of the culmination or the overall, the outcome. And we have 3 in the suit of Wands: communications, creativity, career, and also confidence and courage, because this is, the 3 of Wands shows someone who is either sending his ships out or welcoming them back, perhaps laden with treasures. I think from the position it's in, where he's welcoming them back, knowing that they are laden with treasures. But he's been successful before, so he knows that he has these abilities. It's just a level of trusting, and it's self-expression, just trusting that he has the ability to create some enterprise and to be successful with it, and do the work that's necessary, and be open to some innovation as well. And that's what I see. That's my first impression. You can put it down, and then also any questions that you might have about
total
this.
questions. We only have 5 minutes, though. So overall, is it a positive outlook?
Very positive. Very positive. And with years like this, you can't always. I never know. I never know what
Well,
the
everything
tarot
is in a state of flux all the time.
Yes.
So we have no way of really knowing what could happen, what will happen.
Well, this gives us something that we can focus on and saying, oh yes, I want to bring those energies of that star into my life. I want to see what's in my past, or see what talents and abilities I have in leadership and inspiring people.
Here's a question. You mentioned ancestral memory and all that. Do people who are adopted and don't know their birth parents, do they access their ancestral memory from their birth parents? Is that it?
They can access it themselves, and it can include the birth parents, or if they're in contact with them, or even if they're not.
Many years ago, I did it, a man who was adopted, and I had an expert on finding real parents that was wrong. Birth parents on my show, and in exchange he was going to look up this person's thing, and this man I was dating said, I don't want to know. Well, many years later, long after we'd broken up, I get a call on the phone. Oh, I just did 23andMe. I'm 1/4 Portuguese. I said, good. Okay, yeah, fine. So, I guess because I'm half Spanish, he wanted to show that he was 1/4 Portuguese or something. But I had the feeling when I was dating him that he did not want to know who his birth parents were because he was afraid. He was a high-powered lawyer, and he was afraid that it would be, who knows what. And instead, he found out that it was just a nice kid who got knocked up by her professor. So, yeah, I know. This is a very earthy show, yeah. So he felt much better about that. So, did he access, even though he didn't want to know who his birth parents were, did he access his ancestral memory?
Well, through the genetic
Right.
testing,
Yeah, yeah.
probably, and his it was interesting what he took from it. That it seemed to be comforting in a way, even though,
guess.
and he was able to release fears. That's always a
Yeah.
good thing. So when you release fears, my sense would be that he would be able to access more.
He was very invested in status and class and money.
Yeah.
And he did not want to know. He was afraid he was like the son of a streetwalker or so. He wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. But we broke up after a year. He was very nice, but didn't connect, what I
Yeah.
mean?
Not yeah.
So what, okay, well, how much time do we have?
You have 1:14.
Okay, how do they contact you?
Okay, let me see. The best way is my website and my email, which I'm now holding up here.
Why don't you say it?
And my website is sylviachapel.net, SylviaChappell.net. And then it's my email is info at, I-N-F-O, the @ sign, sylviachapel.net.
Okay. My guest has been brilliant tarot reader and Akashic record reader and many other things, Miss Sylvia Chappell. And you can contact her at sylviachapel.net. 2 P's, 2 L's. I'm Diana Montford. This has been the Diana Montford Show. We both wish you a very, very happy New Year and wonderful good health and prosperity and every good thing you want in the coming year. I love you a lot. I will see you next time. Bye.